Hey everybody, Ben here with We Go Fishing, and welcome to our very first edition of Fishing News of the Week. That's what we're going to call it, Fishing News of the Week. And this fishing news is going to be from March 1st, the week of March 1st. And we're going to get to some headlines and things from fishing, just fishing news, whether it be around the country, whether it be Texas, wherever it would be. We're going to pick some headlines, go through them, and then we have something special to let you know about at the end of the video. So make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end of the video because we do have a special opportunity for you to engage with us. But I also want to say, if you have news stories, if you have fishing news stories that you think we should cover, we are very much open to that. So email us at wegofishing1@gmail.com, and I'll put the links and everything in the description below, but wegofishing1@gmail.com, and maybe you'll see your story featured here on the channel. And but this video also, I have to say, is brought to you by Super Clean. It's brought to you by Super Clean. Karen, you actually tried this stuff out last night on our tub.
Yeah, we have a porcelain tub, and a lot of dirt kind of gets caked on the sides of the tub. If you have kids, you know, and they're in soccer, and there's a lot of dirt. So I sprayed it, I let it sit for a minute, I came back with a cloth, and I wiped it off, and I couldn't believe that my cloth was now brown, because even though it was a white tub, I was getting so much dirt. But it came off a lot easier. Normally I have to take a sponge and scrub. But
yeah, so check out them.
I'm hoping it'll work on our boat.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a try. You know, you want to test these things in small areas, and I haven't tested it out yet, so I'm not gonna vouch for whether or not it works on boat stuff. We tested it out in the tub, and it worked very well there. They've got wheel cleaner. They've got some special floor absorbent where you just pour this stuff onto the spill and it just sucks up the stuff. And then they've got the aerosol can, and then they also got the regular bottle type stuff. So check them out at www.superclean.com. Check them out. And some of their products are also available at AutoZone, so make sure you check them out. All right, let's get to the news headlines here. And the first one, I think the big story still is the Texas freeze.
Yeah, it's affecting everything.
It's affecting everything. We got a video coming out later, maybe end of this week.
Okay.
End of this week, I'm hoping. But we've got a video coming out about the freeze and how it affected surf fishing. Everybody's talking about the inshore fishing, but we went down to the beach and we found some effects there, so we'll talk about that in our video. But in light of the freeze that Texas has experienced, the Star Tournament has given out some information about how they're changing the tournament. So we thought we could talk about this. And you can see here the 2021 Texas Star Tournament announcement. It says, recognizing the extraordinary impact of the recent winter storm, the CCA Texas 2021 Star Tournament will feature significantly, and I think that's a big word.
It's definitely a different...
It's big. It's going to change the whole shebang. Significantly revised format. Look at this. The speckled trout, flounder, sheep's head, and gaff top divisions have been removed entirely from this year's tournament. So that changes things a lot.
Yeah.
Because those were all categories where you would win all
had.
the scholarships and the trucks and the boats.
There was big trout, flounder, I mean everything.
Yeah.
I'm surprised actually that they chose flounder.
And this is for all of Texas. This isn't just South Texas. This is I believe this is Texas wide.
It's because, you know, I wonder why, because the flounder, I have not seen any dead flounder. Now, maybe they're seeing something I haven't seen, so I'm surprised, because flounder can deal with a little bit of cold water.
Yeah.
You have them up north,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. They're
So
northern
I'm
fish.
surprised that they can handle a freeze in the Chesapeake Bay, so
Yeah.
I'm surprised that they have chosen that. The gaff tops, we saw a lot of dead gaff tops, so that's not surprising.
And trout, we know the trout have been affected.
And the sheep's
Some
head.
sheep's head, yeah.
Some.
But yeah, definitely. But what's interesting is they are keeping the redfish division, which I have seen dead redfish too. I mean, we've seen some big dead redfish. Big. I'm talking 42-inch, massive dead redfish. So just reading
But it is much more tricky to catch a tagged redfish.
Yes.
So
which gets us
that's
to this next part.
Yeah. Category.
So the 2021 Star will feature 3 different tagged redfish divisions, which leads me to believe they're not going to have just the
regular redfish
big
division.
redfish. You're not going to have that. You're going to have to catch a tagged one. That's going to be a little more challenging.
So I think they're removing pretty much all of the catches that have to do with your length and your size, and they're only going with tags.
Yeah, and it also says these tagged redfish is going to be utilizing a mandatory release format, And of course, they want to be positive. We all want to try and be as positive as possible. And they said it's going to be bigger and better prizes than ever, including $325,000 in college scholarships for youth anglers. So that being said, I'm definitely still entering our children in the Star Tournament.
Because the last thing you want to do is catch a tagged redfish and realize that you didn't get your kid registered.
If you are listening to this in Texas and you are not a CCA member, I'm not sponsored by them. It's nothing like that. But if you are not a CCA member, this is a good thing to get involved in, especially for kids too.
I think it's only like $10 a year.
Yeah, it's not much.
Yeah,
and it's definitely worth it. So it says while the offshore categories of the tournament will continue as in past years, a soon to be disclosed, new category will be added for 2021. So that leaves a little bit of mystery. We'll have to keep posted here to find out what the. I was trying to think of what other. I mean, are they going to maybe like I don't know. What other division there could be for game fish that's not been affected by the freeze or.
What about the drum?
Yeah, I don't know.
We're gonna
have to. I don't know. Okay, so then it goes on to say, marine conservation began with recreational anglers, and our continued engagement has never been more important for the future of the fisheries and for the marine habitat. We're excited about this year's tournament, and we'll be releasing more details on all aspects of the new development soon. So as soon as we find out more information about this, of course, we'll feature it here on our News of the Week, our Fishing News of the Week, but keep posted on those things because that's going to change the Star Tournament big time. And I'm wondering how many other tournaments are going to follow suit in some way. I mean, really, they probably should. Yeah. I mean, to some degree, it should be maybe catch, photo release, maybe do CPR. Yeah, inshore. Yeah. But maybe more CPR tournaments I think you're going to see where, you catch the fish, you photograph it, you release. I think you're going to see more of that this year, which is probably not a bad thing anyway because a lot of times the guides and people that go out, they know what they're doing. I mean, these guys have lost their amateur status. They're not talking weekend warriors here. So I'm wondering how many more of these tournaments maybe even be canceled. I don't like to see that because of tourism. A lot of these, Aransas Pass and Rockport, Corpus to some degree, a lot of that's just tourism. So if they canceled all those tournaments, I think that's going to be really bad. So I hope that we won't see that. But maybe we'll see more CPR tournaments. Modifications and things like that. So let us know what you think about that in the comments below. Let's go on to our second story. And our second story is this one, and this comes via Fox News. As I was scrolling through, and I saw this: Florida fishermen catch a Warsaw grouper that was bigger than a man. It was a monster. I don't subscribe to this YouTube channel. I think my kids actually do. I've heard them talk about BlackTipH. I don't know if I'm doing that right, if I'm mispronouncing the YouTube channel. But Joshua Jorgensen, he has this catch of this Warsaw grouper, and apparently it's a very, very large one. And he said that he was actually going out for it. So as I was reading it, this was what he had set out to do. He was fishing for it. So he went out with this guy, Captain Jason Boyle of Sonar Fishing, a professional fishing charter in Sarasota, Florida. And after making multiple attempts to try and catch this fish, he finally reeled in this at Pulley Ridge. So if you're in Florida, you know where that is. I don't know where that is. We're in Texas. But apparently it's a coral reef system, 140 miles offshore. So
they knew they were there and they prepared for it. At first, when I saw BlackTipH, I'm thinking, this guy was shark fishing and accidentally got a grouper. How does that happen?
That's what I thought. But,
as I'm reading, this is something he wanted to do.
Seems so, yeah.
And he actually tried last year and failed.
Yeah. Oh, he did? So, okay. You read the article.
Yeah.
Okay.
He tried in 2019. And he tried in 2020, and now he has landed it.
So it says here that Jorgensen took the journey on a 42-foot boat. 5 minutes of fishing, got his bite. That's nice.
Well, they dropped it down, and it was his favorite bait.
5 minutes of fishing, got the bite, started reeling.
Then there's the reeling.
And there's your picture of this thing. Look at the size of that fish. There's another picture here coming up in just a minute, but apparently they had to take turns. They switched positions. 10 minutes. They were fighting this thing.
Well, your biceps can only go so far.
Both men reeled in the large fish, with Jorgensen estimated time took 15 to 20 minutes of fight time and more than 400 feet of hand-cranked line.
Well, they estimated that the fish weighed about 300 pounds. So it measures 250 there in that picture. But they said that the fish lost about 10% water weight before they got it weighed.
Well, according to the game wardens, fish don't shrink.
I think they should.
They must shrink. I mean, this guy says that it must have been because it took. How many guys said it took them? Let's see.
40 minutes to do it.
40 minutes to get it in, but I thought in the article
See,
it said.
they said over 300
Oh yeah, right here,
pounds.
right here. So next time the game warden tells you that it doesn't work, yeah. It says the scale read 294 pounds, which means this fish was well over 300 pounds when we caught him. Jorgensen suggested these fish normally lose 10% of their body weight before you can get them to the dock. Now, I don't know if that's just grouper, fish of this size, but I thought it was interesting because I'm definitely quoting that to the game warden next time. I'm going to say, no, BlackTipH said. He said. I mean, he's a professional YouTuber,
body
man.
weight.
So, I mean, professional YouTuber, he must know,
Yeah.
you know. So anyway, that's just a monster catch. There's another picture of it. I think there's a link to the video there in this news article. I'm not going to play it for you because of I don't want to steal plays from him.
The question is, you know, your net is not going to be big enough. How are you going to get this fish into the boat?
As I was scrolling through and reading the article, apparently they actually hauled it. It says both men real and large fish. They were hauling it in. And we didn't realize how difficult it would be to bring this fish in the boat. It took 4 grown men to lift this fish over the gunwales and into the boat.
See, I only saw 2 men there, and I'm thinking to myself, that's the hardest job.
That's a lot of fish tacos.
Yeah, because you're trying to get this thing into the boat, and even if you can wear it out, it's completely tired and it's not fighting you, it's still leaning over that massive weight.
And that's going to be dead weight. I mean, you're just...
You've seen the gator show, right?
Oh, yeah.
I've seen them pull in massive gators and have trouble. And that's after they know they're dead, for sure.
Right, well,
but still, they're trying to get one gator in the boat, and I've seen trouble with that. I can't even imagine 300 pounds trying to pull that.
I mean, if I don't know if I can't zoom it in, but
and then
these
it has
dorsal
spikes.
fins, right? Yeah, I'm looking
Spikes.
at these dorsal fins, and I'm like, that's like a spear. You don't want that in your leg.
No.
So I'm like, you gotta be really careful with where that thing goes because you would really, really regret it if, you know,
And fish, they can go through legs. You've seen the sailfish, right? The picture of that sailfish that went right through that guy's calf.
Yeah.
I mean, they're sharp enough. They are sharp.
It says here, though, and I do want to say this because I'm not a Florida fisherman and I don't want anybody getting mad at me. I didn't catch this fish. I'm not endorsing catching this fish because it does say here at the end of the article, it says that the Florida Fish and Wildlife Research Institute put out a statement on Facebook, so they weren't really happy about this catch. And it says, at the time, they encouraged anglers to avoid fishing the species since its population status in the Gulf of Mexico is unknown. So they do...
So they avoid it. But right now, there isn't a regulation
No,
on
they
it
don't have a regulation,
don't know.
but they're discouraging it. They're saying, hey, we don't know how many of these things exist out there, so we're not saying it's closed season, but we're just discouraging it. And really, when you're dealing with a fish that size, you got to really think, what are you going to do with it? I guess maybe they taste good. I don't know. But sometimes when a fish gets that big, they just don't taste very good. Yeah.
I thought at first they were going to somehow weigh it and photograph it, but then I don't know how they do it without killing the fish itself.
Yeah, here in Texas we have the Goliath groupers.
Right.
Goliath groupers get massive too, but they say don't lift them out of the water. You leave them in the water, and you circle hooks and things like that. So you want to make sure you release them well because they are protected species here, and groupers can get obviously very big. So. Once you get that thing out of the water, though, that's it. You know, and I think you get some big tarpon too. They say don't bring them out of the water, don't handle them, just release them, take a picture with them, let them go.
Now, did you watch that video with the Goliath grouper where he was actually following the scuba diver around?
Yeah.
Like he was like toying with him.
Yeah. You know, I saw that.
You could clearly see him. So I thought that was really interesting. And groupers.
Well, you're not the top of the food chain down there.
Yeah.
You know, on land, that's one thing.
If you're the same size as the fish, he was considering, is this diver tasty?
Yeah. Like,
you have to wonder.
I don't know, fish is sniffing you.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. Let's get a little bite. I don't know. But that's the size of fish will swallow you whole. I mean,
and he you know, and the diver was kind of nervous.
Yeah.
He was getting away. Wait a minute.
I would get away too. It says here that the world record for caught Warsaw grouper belongs to Steve, and I'm not going to try that last name. Hausler. Very good. All right. Your pronunciation's always better than mine. All right. Who caught the 436-pounder in December of 1985. So even though this was a big one, not a record.
Another 100 pounds to get in the boat.
Yeah, not a record. Yeah. So anyway. So those are the two headlines we're going to talk about for this first edition of Fishing News of the Week. But here's what I want to say for stay tuned, because what we're going to be doing, and I think this will be fun, we are going to be featuring at the end of these videos, we are going to be featuring catches of the week. And the way that you get featured at the end of the video for catches of the week, tag us on Instagram. Just tag We Go Fishing on Instagram. That'll bring it up on our feed. We'll see it there. Or email us at wegofishing1@gmail.com. And people that tag us with the fish, or people that email us the pictures, we'll feature them here at the end of the video, and so people can stay tuned to see if their catch of the week is part of that. So I think that'll be fun to see what other people are catching out there, and interact a little bit with the people who watch these videos. So thank you for watching, thank you for tuning in, and let's get to those catches of the week.